Hello, hello. Get ourselves set up here. We're crooked, so let's not be crooked, because that makes me nuts. Okay, happy Mother's Day to everyone. I hope that you are enjoying your day. Here we have absolutely beautiful weather, which is nice. It's been a while. We are going to continue with our Four Seasons journal. And I've done a lot of prep work. There's some things that I did do. And we're just going to see how far we can get. Um, so I'm just doing some side things, getting things prepared, having ideas in my mind, which I know I'll forget. So today we're going to do lots of collage tags. We're going to continue with our pockets and our tucks and our belly bands for the other 3 seasons that we have. And then we have our file folder that we're going to build and decorate that's in the center. I did off camera. So here's our journal again. We did a hardbound, and it's got 5 signatures with a hidden spine. 2 of them are the journal, or 4 of them are the journals. So each season, spring, summer, fall, winter. And then we have this file folder that's sitting in the second, or in the center. I did add some lace to the pages throughout. And now I'm just going to, and I have pieces held on here, knowing what I was going to do there. So we'll get those in. And then here I just took one of the pieces. Remember, we're using a digital and the pattern paper from Bitty Penny. And it's her 4 seasons. She has a digital and a paper pad that she did for this. So we're using up those pieces. And I took one of the scraps, so we're going to have an extremely loud noise here, because I'm going to punch out my tabs. And I just took a piece of the digital and layered it onto a piece of chipboard, cereal box weight or pasta box. And I'm just going to punch out a couple tags strategically. There we go. And I'll save that because there's still room going on there. And these will be nice and thick. And then we can put our eyelet in there. France, good morning. Happy Mother's Day to you. Let me know if you can hear me. And of course, see me. Those fun things that we like to check on. And I think what I'm going to do first is get these pieces in. So that I don't have the clip. I'm going to use my weight to hold these down to keep them out of my way. I'm going to get out my inks, because we never know what we're going to do. There we go. All right, so in her digital collection, she's got this really cool page, and I cut it out, even cut out the notches, and we are going to go around that with, of course, vintage photo. and just scruff these up. It'll also get rid of those white edges that I don't get completely, but just a little touch. And I'm just going to set that right in here, like that. And then this here, I have, that's going to be our pocket. And that's going to sit down here. So this will be glued down, so a journaling spot, and then a pocket. And then this I think I'm going to go over with scorched timber. And then we'll be doing some masterboards and making tags and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, I like that. So we got a little pocket. And then this, good morning, Jennifer. Happy Mother's Day. All right. So I am going to just shift this up a little bit because I want to use my glue stick for this. So that I can get this as flat, get to the edges, and then I always keep old magazines and books for when I do something like this. And then let's get that up there. Of course, it's going to be on an angle. We will at some point, I'm not sure how long this is going to be. I don't know. Oh, God, as long as Biddy yesterday. Oh, bless her heart. But it was awesome. That was an awesome marathon. I was not feeling too well yesterday. Was not quite sure what was going on, but something was definitely going on. And just listening to her, I was giggling. But I thought it was an awesome time. All right, so now we have that side done. And now I'm just going to do the same thing to the back. And it's just going to look the exact same. We're going to do lots of ephemera today, but I want to do the front cover and we're going to do the back cover as well. I don't know if I'll put those pieces in place because I don't think, well, you never know. You never know how long I'm going to go today. But it all depends on how far we get through the ephemera portion of this. I will be posting, if you're part of our community, our next video on the, because it's free, this level, and we just focus on scraps. Scraps. It's all about the scraps. And different ways that you can cut them, what you can do with those, not even focusing, making your scraps be the focal point when it comes to that. but we create mini masterboards. That's what I like to call them, with all of that collaging and all of that. How could I? Okay, I put that down like that. So that will be going up later on today. And then we're going to set this down just like that. Okay, our inside covers are done. And that is wonderful. Now I'm going to move these because we need space. And then what I want to work on now is the file folder. Where's that? So that's sitting in our center. And again, this was just cut from a 12 by 12, scored in certain ways. And now we've got these wonderful pockets here that can expand. And I do want to use some of her digitals. I just need to see the size of it. Oh, and that's perfect. Because what we can actually do is let this be a flip if we wanted. Not that she could journal on this, because now you're going into this, but we could do that. But I really liked these pages, and I think there's one for each. Yes. Yes. And two. And then we've got this one. We've also got this one. Alright, we're going to keep those like that. So we'll go spring, summer, fall, winter. Okay. Because I think I'm just going to have one side of this. I'm just going to trim these down. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. They are, I forget where I found these, but they're like little crocheted pieces of lace. And I just had enough. Good morning, Vicky. I know it's Mother's Day, but I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. And thank you so much for joining in. Just taking off the fold of these pieces, because I want to mat them, and it'll give that file folder a little bit more strength, because it is being done with 65-pound paper, so she's kind of light. All right, let's get back to that center. There we go. Now these measure, let's see, 5.5, and I think by 8.5. Of course, I use a small ruler. Let's try this again. Okay, 5.5 by 8.5. Okay. So that means this is going to go on the back. I want the fall. That's okay, we can do those smaller. I think it's gonna be interesting. My plan, I don't know if it's gonna work. And then we're gonna have that. Well, that's all right. You know, we had all kinds of wonderful learning experiences. Bitty. And I think we're going to do the same today. Let's see. We do want to mat these in black. Good morning, Shay. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Cordelia, happy Mother's Day. All right, I said 5.5 by 8.5, right? Okay. So I'm going to go 5.25 for 2. And then we're just going to eyeball 1/4 to come off. And then I'll have to figure out the center. All right, so I know this here is going to be the first piece, and I want to get these in. Because then we can move on to other things. And I think, yeah, we're going to do the same thing that I did before. Oh, we're just going to go with it. Here we go. Just going to use our glue. And we're going to set these up in the top part, because I am going to add some pockets. I don't know what they're going to look like, but we're going to add some pockets. All right, so we got that one, and now I need the one on the back. So I hope you all were spoiled. And if not yesterday, I hope you will be today. Thank you so much for joining me. And then whatever whatever we don't finish today, I don't know how long I'm going to go today. So who knows? We could have another marathon. I am going to use my double-sided tape actually on these. Hang on. Whatever I don't get done, the next video that you will see will be the final flip through of the journal before she makes her trip to Texas. Okay. So I'm adding double-sided tape to these because this folder is not as thick as the signatures, so it's curving just a little bit. And this could get a lot of wear and tear. Now, liquid glue is okay for that, but I'm impatient, so the tape's going to immediately adhere, and I will add glue as well, because adding the glue, one, it gives you that double security of everything sticking. I very rarely, well, no, I can't even say I very rarely. I do not use tape runners. The only tape runner that I will use, and I've tested it, is my ATG gun. Do you remember ATG guns? These big clunky things. And I get my tape from Tape Jungle, and I've tested it. I've actually, you know, put it on 2 pieces of paper, and it holds up very well. I knew that was going to happen. But I don't, that's in my climate. So I'll use it for other things, my tape runner. Other things that I'll put together. But I know that where this is going, the, you know, whole temperature thing, I just want to make sure that it stays and it keeps the curve when it comes to this. Vicki, I am so glad you are enjoying retirement. My sister just retired. The May 2nd was her last day. And she's enjoying it, but she's also adjusting, you know, because you get into those routines. But yeah, that's why I was a little late this morning. We have to figure out a new phone schedule. Because we would talk on the phone while she was driving home. I was always home before her. I'm very blessed. I'm only 3.8 miles away when I have to go on site, when I'm not working from home. So I am always right around the corner. So while she was driving home, she would always call me. And that's when we would talk. Well, now she's not driving. So I'm like, okay, we need to come up with a new, you know, call schedule. So I believe that will be Saturday and Sunday mornings. We both get very nervous if we do not speak for a while. So if she calls me on Sundays, that's why I always say I'm gonna go live Sunday, but anytime between 9 and 9:30. Yeah, you never know. All right, and we're gonna put our back panel on. Horrible scratchy sound. Okay, so we have our two panels on the outside. And again, we're going to put a pocket like we did in the inside covers. And now we have these. Now these I've got to look at. Might have to trim these down. Only because, you know, we've put glue on this edge. So let's work, and it's only going to be a portion that comes up. And I think I figured out what I wanted to do. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it up. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. So I'm feeling where this folder is and looking and knowing I'm going to have a black border. That's about right. And then, let's do some measuring. You know, we wing it. Gotta wing it. Gotta have fun when we wing it. And again, so that's 5.5, but this is 5. 5.5, 5. Okay, everybody remember that. So 5.25. Where's my trimmer? Oh, there it is. So we want 4.75. And I need 2 of them. By 5.25. We got that. All right. All right, I need to put this back down here because that's where I'm used to it being. And why is that popping me? All right, we'll keep it there. Let's just go with it. All right, so now if I look at this, this should... we're going to take it up another notch. So you can see we don't need fancy cutters. We can just fold. And now I'm going to cut along that. I'm going to cut along the back so that I can see it. Could also tear it. I just didn't want to pull out my trimmer again. So there's that. And we're going to do the same thing. And I'm just going to take this, line it up, and cut. Because it should be the same size. And we'll let that one go like that, and we'll have that one go like that. So since I was down yesterday, I didn't get to do too much. So today, I'm going to make up. For all the time that I lost in here today. So it'll be a fun day. At least for me it will. Really need to get... There we go. we'll pull this back in, and then at least I know we have the main panels done inside the folder. Because then they're going to sit right on top of here. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to add our double-sided tape just along the perimeters so that I know that's going to stay. I'm not worried so much about the pockets. Those covers, but I'm sure I'll do the same thing. When something bends or curves, like this piece will, I just want to make sure that everything is staying. And the glue will fill in those areas that are not filled with the double-sided tape. I've got a lot of air pockets going on here. All right. So I too, this is a gift for anybody just joining, but I'm not on a deadline. I'm giving myself a deadline. I'm very excited because I follow Tracy Fox. I don't know if there's any journalers here that also follow her. But last year, I got very excited over her Creep on June. Never heard about it, never knew, never heard about it before. And again, it's not for everyone because it is, you know, Halloween heavy in June. But I just fell in love with what she did, how it was put together, the story that went with it was awesome. And she has announced that she is putting together another one. So, all excited. And I'll probably do the same thing. Some lives with that, some videos on that. But I can't wait. I don't know how she's going to top what she did last year. I cannot wait. Sorry for that scratching. I so have to change my tip of that glue. Ah, don't catch the string. Alright, so we have those panels together now. So we've got our front, and you can see it made them just a little bit sturdier now, just by adding those. So they're not as flimsy. They're nice and substantial. And we went with the same thing. So here's the spring, the summer. I think I flipped those two, but that's okay. Fall, we're just going to go with it. Fall and winter. So we're going to add pockets out here, and I'm probably going to use some pattern papers on that as well, and then we'll figure out how we're going to decorate these also. All right, so I'm going to set the journal aside, and again, for those of you that just joined I added some lace to the pages because this here is where I also put my charms. The charms just string all throughout here. The one thing I did want to do, now that I reminded myself, I want to add a tab to the file folder. So I'm going to put one out here. And I just need to get a craft one. And then I'm going to add one down here so that they will stick out as well. And they're going to run along that edge. So let me get those in place. Now, the reason why I'm setting them so one at the top and one at the bottom is because our closure is going to be a ribbon. And I don't want the ribbon to cross over the tabs. For some reason, that makes me nuts. I just saying. And then we're going to set this one up here. And I am going to put these on the other side. So this will sit right there. And then the other one will sit there. So these will be nice and thick because I'll put eyelets in these and have a charm hanging off. I'm going to put a clippy on those. And I'll keep pinching it. I do like to have things that pop out. Little tiny, I call them poofs. With ribbons and twine. And I think this time we are going to have paper charms coming off of these. And if they get in her way, she can just cut them and tie bows in, whatever she would want to do. Or I may tie them up into bows. Okay, so now when we close, then we have these tabs also sticking out as well. I'm just going to hit them with a little bit of vintage photo. Along the edge. All right. Here we go. All right, I'm going to set this aside, and we're just going to have some fun now. What I did off camera is I set up the packet. So here's my winter with the things that I know I want in there for winter, and then same thing with fall, summer, and then spring. So I still do have some things in here for spring. And there's just, when I do a journal, there's things that I do equally within the signatures. So each signature will have the belly band. Each signature will have the let me see. We'll have two of these corners. There's the belly band, and it'll have something coming up off the top. It will have the basic pocket and the folded envelope, and it'll have this side pocket on the backs of each of these, that things can be tucked in with the flip out. So those are the normal. I came up with, each one will also have a bookmark with an eyelet so that things again can come off. Because again, it's just something that I usually do. And I do have some, whenever I print a digital, I always print out the extra, another set on copy paper of the papers. So I have those. And I also have my scraps. I have my whole bin of scraps that we are going to add to these. What I want to do here, this is 110-pound cardstock. It can be any weight you want. It could be old magazine pages. I'm just choosing the 110 because I know these are automatically going to be tags and journal cards for each of the seasons. So we are just going to go to town, and we're going to create mini Masterboards. And I need to pull in my stamps and that. So it's not a 12 by 12. This might, again, sometimes that 12 by 12 is very, very overwhelming. So sometimes we can say, no, I can't do that. That's too much. If this is an 8.5 by an 8.5 sheet. All right, let's start with the winter. So I'm pulling out all of the winter papers, or at least what I believe to be the winter papers. This is going to be the one throughout. That's going to be one throughout. And now I'm just looking. These are more winners. Again, keeping everything as close together as I can. Maybe sort of. Of course, I lost everything. That's not good. Totally, totally not good. Hang on. Gotta do a little bit of a reset here, because I messed up all of my pages. Yes, I did. Yep. See, this is the fun of creating. And we can cross over into other things. Okay, I think I think I've got it. Maybe. If not, it's what we're going to go with. All right. Here we go. And we are just going to have fun. I am going to use a ruler to slice the pieces. And we're just going to layer these. And we're going to create 4. I don't want to put too much into these because I do look at the recipient. I keep the recipient in mind when it comes to the journal that I put together. So especially if I'm putting a journal together for somebody who does journal, makes journals, and all of that, I don't put as many details in there compared to a journal that I'm making to, put up on my website. That I overload that because I don't know who the recipient's going to be. I don't know if it's somebody that does journal or somebody that is buying it for somebody else. So I put all kinds of extra ephemeras within them. Because then they can add, take away, and do whatever they want. So that's why we're only doing one sheet. Because then she will be able to have fun making it her own. But I do think that this is an easy way and a quick way to make your bases for your tags. Plus, I just love to do this. You don't just have to use, I'm not going to just use the digitals either. I'm going to throw in that's a fall. Alright, so let's keep going with these. And this makes a great base because we're going to add other pieces on top. So I am digging into our scraps. Because she is all about the scraps. putting in some big chunks pieces here. So I start out big, I start coming in small. When it comes to our pieces, and then I get smaller. Making these is a great way to bust your stash. And the other cool thing is you never know what you're going to get. You just never know. And I always keep my fingers crossed that I don't have any naughty words. And I'm going to put, where is it? There it is. Oh, no, let's do this one. A little tiny piece of ink smush. Put that there. And I just go right up to the line. And if anything comes over, I just trim it. Oh, thank you, Shay. These are fun. This is right up there with ink smushing for me. I love ink smushing. Oh, that one fits nicely right there. Because they do create a really cool base for anything, and you can see that it's starting to fill in. No, I don't want that. I'm even going into my strippy scraps. Because they're fun too. To just add layers. Let's add some more pieces, and we can make them smaller. Not worried about the white edge. To me, that just adds to it. This is great so that you don't think. Just get your papers down. I am going to create a straight edge on this one. I don't save those. And as you keep layering, you're breaking up what's already here for your piece. You can keep some of these areas open. I don't want to do that. I want to fill it all in. I want to bend that out. And I even do this in production style because I know I'm making 4. because we're going to hit each of the seasons. And I do like to have just a little bit. So I'm looking now for big areas. That can be broken up. And I do want to pull in. Where'd my roller go? Okay. Oh, I'll put that right there. Just saying, we can just have fun with our pieces. All right, let's try this again. So now we've just got our small areas, and then that's where these strips. These are the edges for when I make a journal. If I'm cutting it down, I keep these. These are awesome. And whenever I coffee dye, I don't tea dye, I actually coffee dye, because it's a little darker. You get a light side and you get a dark side. And for me, I just think that's really cool. Again, to each his own. So I have choices. Choices are always awesome. And just these little snippets, you can just throw them anywhere to break up something large. And what's great is they're all neutral colors. And they're like little pieces of tape. What I'm hoping I get done today is I am hoping to I'm going to tear all around this, is to get all 4 of these Masterboards done. I know that's kind of huge, but here's the top of a of a paper bag. See, we just keep everything. I'm just yes. See, and it's filling nicely. The only thing where my eye is getting thrown off just a little bit is just down here. It's a big space. So we are just going to put another small section of this one. Yes. And again, you do not, I cannot stress enough, you don't have to worry about what matches, what doesn't. Hello, Ave. Welcome. Yes, I have 2 children. I have my furry bot, Max, and I have my husband. Yes. And I'm going to put that one down there. There we go. Okay, our first one is done. Absolutely done. Good morning, Sala. So now let's move on to our next one. We'll put that up there and hopefully it doesn't fall. Now I'm going to move these because, yes, I keep all of these. And we're going to put those off to the side because I'm sure I'm going to be pulling those in for pockets and stuff like that, along with the pattern paper and all that fun stuff. Okay, I think this one is, we just did spring, right? Yes, this is summer. So let's do summer. I am also going to put a sticky note on this. I'm trying to keep them where they should be. And we're going to mark this one spring. Okay. I Post-its are a huge item in my craft space. I try to reuse them. All right, here we go. So summer, we're still going to stay bright, but she's also got these deep colors as well. I love these double patterns. You can also start out this way where you just cut different shapes and sizes of your pieces to make sure you get all of what you're looking for to get in. Again, the possibilities are awesome and endless. And if I have a duplicate, I'm just pulling that aside. I want to make sure that all the levels are represented. Okay. Now we got those. I'm going to save those for later. And now, rinse and repeat. So did anybody who saw Biddy's live yesterday, did we make any journals? Oh. Yeah, she did one journal, though, that I have yet to try, and it's the accordion journal. I don't know why, but that one kind of sort of freaks me out. Because I know that I would just absolutely mess it up. So just getting our large pieces down, and then we will fill in. Oh, I have one more pattern here. We'll save that one. All right, now we're going to dig into the scraps again, but we're going to go with just a different color scheme. Of course, the last time, you know, it was bright, spring-like. Now we're just going to get into, I always have to add some black. Get some purple there. But just different shades of summer. Oh, what's that? Ooh. Ooh. No, it's a casino. Ooh, okay, these will be fun. Got some music sheets. Gotta add some pink. Gotta have a heart. I have no idea what paper pad this came from, but boy, it is absolutely gorgeous. And I wish I knew which one it was. Does anybody know? Oh. Well, Cordelia, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for just stopping by. I hope you all have a wonderful Mother's Day. And I'm truly grateful that you all stopped by. I'm sure you have all kinds of wonderful plans to be with your families. My husband is having an awesome time golfing, as he should. He loves his golf. Oh, did I? Oh, oh. I think I understood. You're talking about what I said about the accordion journal? You did that yesterday? Okay. Well, then I'm glad you're still here. Oh, my goodness. that there. Gotta have a piece of purple. I'll save that one. This will give me two different looks. Okay, we're going to save that one too. And let's see, are we missing anything to fill in some of these gaps? I think I'm going to put that one right there. And now we'll look at filling in with book pages. Oh, hello. All right, we're going to save that. Oh, that was going to be the black and white stripe. I did name the journal. So I have that. So yeah, I'm very ambitious today. So we'll see what I get done. So these are just pieces that I have that just do very well breaking up something. But I do want to get book pages in, and I don't think okay, be right back. Let me get a book. Okay. Well, hello. Okay, is that Nay Nay Nini? I'm so sorry. Welcome. I am so sorry. Pronouncing names wrong is what I do. Welcome. This is extremely, I love this paper. It's from an old standard symphony book. But the paper is so fragile that I can't put it in any journals. I mean, you can see I'm lightly just tearing this and it's just crumbling. So it's not good to sew in a signature because it'll just come right out. And I do save even these little pieces. I know. Because again, they're good fillers. They're good things that break up something in your masterboard that you don't want. And I put words all in different ways. Up, down, sideways. Alright, now let's add some coffee dyed pieces. Now what even adds to your masterboards is you could ink around all these pieces too, but yeah, no. Neat. Okay. Well, welcome. I'm horrible with names, so I apologize. Very much. Hmm. Hmm. This is, these are strips from um, drawing paper. Yes. So we can just continue to go smaller and smaller. Very close. But you know what? We're going to go for it. And we will add that right there. And we can add that straight across. All right, that is our summer. Where are we at? Oh, just at an hour. Next up, we are going to do fall. And I'm running out of space. All right, so let's put this on now. And let's get to fall. Yes, all of these pieces are being saved. And we're just going to do the same thing. So do you guys do Masterboards as well? And if so, what do you look for when it comes to, okay, this, I want this whole thing. Because I know that is just going to go there. Yes, except next Sunday. I will not be live next Sunday. And that's definite. I was supposed to not be live today. So my sister and I know I've talked about this before, but we have always wanted to do a retreat. She is a cross stitcher. That's all she does is cross stitch. She also does felt, you know, the puffy felt things. And we used to do cross stitching hops. We also, me and my mom, we used to do cross or quilt hops because me and my mom used to quilt. I like to say sew. I never did the quilting. I always sent my quilts off to someone to long arm them. But they were just always, either timing never worked, or, you know, and rightfully so, they are worth the money that's charged. So what we do is once a quarter, we get together at each other's house. And we create our own retreat. And basically what it is we are sitting down and doing absolutely nothing. No cooking, no cleaning, no nothing. Nothing at all. We are just chit-chatting, gabbing, having fun. And that's pretty much what we do. So last weekend, that's when we were supposed to get it, but I wasn't thinking. Imagine that. Totally didn't realize that it was Mother's Day on Sunday. So we rescheduled to next weekend. And that is what I will be doing. And usually during them, I knit socks. I love knitting socks. I do knit other things. There's a lot of crafts that I do. I love trying new crafts. It's dangerous, absolutely. But I enjoy new things. And some of those new things, they can certainly be incorporated into our paper crafts, like weaving paper. Well, that comes from quilting, which is cool. We add puff to our paper with dimension. All right, now we've got our base down. So let's get some book page in. So, Ginger. I'm going to make a straight edge on that. So I'm looking forward to it. And we run it like a retreat. Like the very first one we did, I put together a flyer. I sent her an invoice. I didn't get paid. Nope. Did not get paid. So I did send her a collection notice. I still haven't gotten paid. It's the fun that we have. Oh, your sister too? She only does cross stitch too, Cordelia? Yeah, she won't, um, she's actually about to, she's interested in, embroidery. My mom did beautiful embroidery pieces, just absolutely gorgeous. Um, it's also, we also call it, or I also call it crewel. Um, but she actually wants to learn that. She's interested in crocheting. Now, my mom was teaching her. That's where the problem lied. My mom, very, she loved her crocheting, but no patience. Absolutely no patience. So I remember a couple of needles, hooks flying through the air with the greatest of ease. It was just, it was a fun time, you know, very much so. Very much a fun time. And yes, I was the one that sat in the back and just giggled. Absolutely. Because to me it was funny. But I was the instigator. Oh, let's see here. Hold on here. I gotta stop here. Oh, Nini, that would be great. That would be awesome. I think it's great when we can all come together and craft together. I really do. I think it is. It's just a lot of fun. Probably why I do enjoy these lives. I just shook my camera. I'm sorry. Why I have my hat on, I have no idea. My baseball hat, that is. Oh, let me get my water. Okay. All right, let's add some pattern paper. I definitely want to get this in there. And again, I think these are the pieces that we did together a while ago. A while ago. Okay. I need to have that heart in here. And again, even though you're looking at images that you're putting in here, yes, you may cut through them as we continue our piece, but that's okay. Yeah, have the illusion there. Here's our black strip of some sort. So the black strip actually is representing me. So the black or the purple. So you have a little bit of the stamps. All right, that piece is going to go there in all of that. So, oh, what's that? These look like fun pieces. Again, just looking at a color scheme that falls within each of the seasons. I was going to put that down there, but that's okay. Maybe we'll hold that one. I do not. I don't want to put that in there. No. So just trying to stay. So fall for me are deep colors, golds. Those types of things. I'm not necessarily looking to stay within her color palette, but looking to deepen it, if that makes sense. So, Nini, do you teach? Um, let's see, learn to really have a craft store and try around there, whole other thing. Oh, yeah, driving was fun. I drove before my parents taught me. Yeah, y'all know that I'm a rebel, right? I'm just saying. Oh, and they paid for driving lessons. Now that's funny. Um, see. Oh, well, Jennifer, you can always make suggestions. Never fear that. But let's see if I hit what you want to suggest for Nini for live YouTubers. Um, yes, Biddy Penny. That is the name of her channel. She goes live, I think it's Monday. Oh, right now, she said her schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday mornings. Now, when she goes live during the week, she goes live at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. Yes, 6:30 Eastern. And then on Saturdays, she usually starts like at 9 o'clock Eastern, so 8 o'clock. Um, yes, most Mondays and Wednesdays. Yes, yeah, and Saturdays I think she starts at like 8 Texas time or maybe 9 Central, so Central time. Usually about 9 o'clock I can see her live, and I'm Eastern. Um, let's see. Um, if you like vintage, um, Monica Taylor goes live. Heavy vintage. Tim Holtz vintage is what she does. Debbie J. She makes hers fun. Um, so she always makes me giggle. So she's very interactive with her lives. I need another piece of green. Okay, so come on, guys. I've got all of these. Then you will do awesome teaching. So I think that would be great to um, to let people know and announce that you're going to teach. I think that's awesome. Um, so do you only like live tutorials? Because there is Maddie, and for the life of me, channel went right out. Um, yeah, only me. There's just so many. Now, also, are you looking just for card videos? You can see I just love paper. So, paper for me is the best medium ever. And we can do so much with it. Or do you like journalers? I'm going to put that right there. Because the list is forever. And of course, you know, whenever you get that, Stella, you have a channel. Yep, Empty Nest. That, yes, Empty Nest Scrapper. And then, what's the other one, guys? Messy. Yeah, nope, Sally, you were right. And Sally, you have a channel too. Put your information up there. You know, I need to make a bunch of you. Oh, Nini, do not be scared to jump in to journaling. It's the best way to start. Just have fun with those supplies. It's a great stash buster. Absolutely. Okay, there is our fall. So, wow, we are absolutely going through. I'm just going to trim the edges because then I don't have to worry about it later on because I'll forget. Just saying. All right, and we already marked it, and now we've just got one more. Okay, we're not doing too bad. Well, we're close to. What I'll do, Nini, is after I'm done the live, in the video description, I'll list a bunch of people that do videos. Yes, don't the crafty visage. She's got a channel as well. Dawn, hello, Dawn. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. There we go. Now we've got our group just filling this up for you. And Nini, make notes because after the live is done, we lose these comments, but I'm actually, and I'm doing it now, I'm going to write these down, and I will make sure I link them down below so you can hear my pencil going. I also, Gail's great. She does a video every day for at least an hour. Gail Agostinelli. And she does all kinds of fun techniques. All right, now let's get into winter. And I know I want that piece in there. And I got that. Oh, let's get these scraps out of the way. And that's just fun to keep on there. Okay, that I won't keep. And I'm going to do the same thing. That's going to sit there. That one's going to go down there. I definitely want that darkness because that can be the black that I add in. So winners for me are definitely cool colors, definitely blues and grays, but I also think pinks can be a color that can come in. Greens depends upon the shade of that green. And again, it's truly, you know, a personal preference when it comes to shades and colors and all of that. I think it's more like of a mood. You know, what does this put you into? That type of mood, I guess. But okay, so back to the lives. Yes, I go live every Sunday. And yeah, I like to say between 9 and 9:30 Eastern because you never know. But I've been doing good. I've been close to 9. Today I was a little late. My sister and I were talking about our retreat, and I was confirming that nothing else was happening that would change that. And then I was telling her about the weekend, because it was a very odd weekend. Um, I was putting together some videos for the community. I was trying to finish up the technique that I was doing um, for the group in the initial level. And again, it's all scraps. And again, I'll have that linked down below as well if you're curious about what I'm talking about. And I was doing some more videos for the paid group because we're currently working on a Poe journal. Huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe. And all of a sudden, I lost power. And thank goodness I can edit out what I said when that happened. And, everything was fine. Okay, we lost power. All right, well, we'll figure out what we're going to do and all this stuff. So I text my husband to say, hon, just so you know, we've lost power because we do have a sump pump in our basement. But we recently were able to we finally got our roof situation straightened out, and it has done wonders. We're not taking in so much water. It's just been wonderful. I've been a happy camper and all of that. But he still came home so that we can get the generator. We just worry about the sump pump. And the power, logged it in, and the power wasn't out long. They got it back in, but there must have been a very strong power surge when they did this. We've lost power before, and everything has been fine. This time we had some breakers pop. I'm going to put this strip right there. We had, and one of the breakers wouldn't come on. But we got, all the other ones to come on. But one of them just would not. It would not kick over. So I said, look, let it settle. We'll come back on that one. And my husband did. We waited a little bit, and finally we were able to get that one to kick on. And then we realized, yeah, I can laugh about this now. We realized that our HVAC system was not connecting. So, just like with everything has gone electronic. So you have these control boards, Wi-Fi's, all this stuff. And we just weren't able to get this to kick over. And we're like, okay. So I called the company that installed it. Okay, I'm going to put this in there. And I'm going to save that. And I had a feeling, I knew, again, all of these connections and all of that, we probably fried our control board. Thank goodness we did not. We did not. So it was a fuse that we blew. And thank goodness, oh, and I like this too. So thank goodness we were able to just have to replace the fuse. See, my husband calls me a nut. Imagine that. Um, because whenever there's a storm that's approaching, I'm always, I shut down the system. Although I found out by doing what I was doing wasn't enough. Um, but I shut down the system. I shut down my computer. And I unplug my computer. And there's other things that I'll do that too. And my husband's always saying, "Honey, you're a lunatic. Why are you doing?" And I've always said because of the power surge. You don't want that power surge coming back in. Yeah. Hello. And this is the first time that we absolutely had this happen. The power surge. Can you see I'm trying to find a spot for this? Um, we've just never had this happen before. So I got to have an electrician come out too and look at my breaker box. Hello, Gwen. Welcome. Happy Mother's Day. All right, Nini's on a roll. She's subbing. So, Gwen, if you have any favorite YouTubers, creators that go live and all that, list them down below. Nini's looking for people to watch while live. So, yeah. So, when my husband got home, I said, see, I'm not crazy. I should be doing that. But we are going to put, and we realized that there's a switch. Who knew? There's a switch that is located inside the system that when we lose power, we can flip the switch. Yep. Flip the switch. And when the power comes on, it won't get surged. So very, very nerve-wracking moment. Absolutely nerve-wracking. Nobody wants to deal with that. But, that's the awesomeness of being a homeowner. You never know what's going to happen and the fun that is experienced. Hear how I'm talking there? I'm just saying. I always said that I would not be a homeowner because I always envisioned the money pit. I'm just absolutely saying. So every time we have something, and when my husband gets upset, I'm like, oh, no, you want the house. This is you. This is all you. And then he just looks at me and walks away. All right, now we're just getting into our strips, because that's what we've got left. And then we have our 4 seasonal poster, or poster boards. Yeah, no. Masterboards done. And then it's time to cut them up. And I love doing that. I love, 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 love. Okay, I think I'm going to add just small pieces of this. This is actually from a file folder that's left. I think it's a good green for the winter. And it'll help. Oh, you know, the one piece I forgot. And it's on the floor. Well, it's on the floor, at least for me. Our strip of black cardstock. There we go. Okay, and there is our winter. Woohoo! All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to real quick get our scraps where they need to be, because I have no room. I need room. And I'm not going to just push everything off the table this time. It's great to do, but no, there's too much up here to do that this time. And I'm going to keep them close. But I just need to get them just a little organized. If you guys ever saw a creator's desk outside of the filming area, you all would laugh hysterically. All right, so now I'm going to put those up there. We'll just keep them in reach. And then we'll keep the book within reach too. All right, so let's look at each of our boards, because the only thing that I'm going to do to these today is we're going to stamp on them. We've got to have a level of stamping. And again, it does not have to be something that we think about. Stamping can be very random. And I can only fit 3 of these in my screen, which is fine. That's what we'll do. But you also can get the feel of each of the seasons when it comes to these. I'm just going to pull out a couple. I lost my favorite, my absolute favorite. Stamping block. I have no idea where it got to. It's somewhere. So I definitely want treasures. And we're going to stamp in both wait a minute, did I want to stamp in treasures? Hang on. Yes. Yes. I want to do that. I want, and I always limit myself when it comes to stamps because it can very easily get out of hand. And then I want a factory, and I want a number. Okay. And then I need to remember where they all go back. So whenever I do this type of stamping, I always use my archival inks, and it's potting soil and black. So let's do the black last. We'll do the brown first. Let's see, making sure we don't have any questions. Yes, Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, awesome. Oh yeah, I think we all said Biddy Penny at the same time. So we'll start with our brown. I do not worry about if I'm right side up, if I'm upside down, if I'm completely on the on one piece of paper. No, we just have fun getting them, and I do it in threes. So this has 2, and I need 1 more. So there's 3. 1, 2. I work in odd numbers. Yeah. And then that's 3, and we've got 1, 2, 3. So now I know that one's done. And I want this one to be in brown as well. The last 3 are going to be in black ink. So again, going to do the same thing. Just stamp randomly. Don't worry about a perfect image. Just have fun stamping. And just go where your stamp is going to go. The brown is more subtle. It's not going to be as bold as what the black will be. So that's why I do mix each of them up. Whoops, shouldn't have done that. Now we're going to switch to the black. But it just adds something to it. Oh my goodness, yes, craft roulette. Oh my god, Friday nights. Oh my goodness. How can we forget craft roulette? So the black will be just a little bit bolder. And I like that. And again, even though they're close, it's okay. Depending upon where I go, I may come back with more to stamp. Because again, I work with 3s but it all depends on where the placement is, what I'm looking at, and so forth. You can add as much or as little stamping as you want. But always just have fun with it. Now, if you're more comfortable stamping and making sure that it's within a pattern paper, that's fine too. That is absolutely fine as well. What you mainly have to do is enjoy. All right, our last one, I always pick a spirally one, a flourish type one, because I think that just kind of ties everything together. And you can see I am not worried about being straight. I am not worried about if I've overlapped on something. This one's usually my filler. So this one I'm looking at saying, okay, you know what? I also want one here. And since I did that, I want another one to come into here. What I need to remember is this is sitting on an angle on the block because I made it fit. And that's 3. I do want to go to a 4th one. And then we just have this one, and then we'll real quick pull back in our last panel. Wherever I put the last panel. Here we go. And of course I put all those back because I wasn't thinking. Nope. Treasures was in black. Factory was in black. Our number was in brown. I do make sure that the images that we're stamping with are in all different arrangements. Whether they're upside down, straight across, it doesn't matter. We just want to make sure that they're in all different ways. It doesn't mean that they're going to be able to be seen, because it all depends on how we cut this. Alrighty. We are set. And I have no idea where this one came from. And we're going to assume it's there. Yeah. Okay. We'll keep those close by just in case. All right, guys, moment of truth. We are going to cut our boards. I'm looking at the comments. I got Gwen, just like she said, Gwen and Sue Harris hooked. When I went on the very first time, they were there cheering me on. Okay, guys, we are going to cut these. And you should never be scared of cutting your boards. Well, hello, Anthony. How are we doing? Just dive right in and cut into them. Now, I am going to cut one at a time, and I am going to bring in my rotary. We've got some layers going on here. All right, so now remember, this is an 8.5 by 11, and we want to, I'm going to cut my first cut at 3. And then I'm going to do my next cut at 4 and a quarter. And we have 2 journaling cards now. All right, so my journaling cards, I'm making them 3 by 4 and a quarter. Now I'm going to cut this to be 2 by 4 and a quarter. And I apologize if my camera is shaking, but I'm making sure that these are going to be tags. So I'm going to put these over here. Going to cut this one to be 2.5. And I am not going to remember any of these cuts. That's going to be a tag as well. So each panel will be cut differently. This one is almost 6, so we're going to go to 3. And then this measures 6. So I'm going to cut this as 2. This is a small tag. This is a chunkier tag. And then these are just going to be fun. This is what? 3. So we're going to go 1.5. And these are going to be tall and skinny tags. All right, so now we have all of those done. We can also make that one a journaling card if we want as well. So we're going to set these, and I want to cut my tag tops or else I will forget. If you don't have a template, just cut your angle, take that piece, wrap it around, flip it over, match it up in your corner, hold it carefully, and take your scissors right along that. Or you can make yourself a template from an old card. cut and then flip. Just make sure you're lining up on the sides. And then cut. So there's our next tag. And then if you've got something that's close in its side, just tap it to the top, and then you can use that as your template. These are fun and skinny, so I am going to just cut them. And then I will line this up and center it, and then just cut along that as well. Again, we never need perfection. We can just have some fun. And this one, I can go with that one. Just remember, if you do make yourself a template, you can use multiple layers of cardstock if you want. Just make sure to flip it over when you go to the other side. Tracy Fox taught me that. So those are our tags and journal cards already done and completed for the winter. Now we'll put holes in these, we'll add ribbons, and we'll do all of that as well. Even probably some metal findings. I'm going to do that to the next three, but I want to put these in my envelope for winter, because I really want to keep all of that stuff together. All right, let's move on to fall. And let's see what we get. I'm sure I'll start out the same way as I did before. So 3, 4 1/4. So there's our 2 journaling cards. I'm going to go with 2, 4 1/4 tags. I'm going to hit 3 again. I'm going to hit 4 1/4 again. There's my third. That's going to be a chunky tag. And then for this one, I think this is 3 1/4. So I'm going to come across this with 2. And this one's going to have, no, I'm going to go with these 2 skinny ones again, because I like the skinny ones. So here we have our 3 journaling cards again, and our tags. And again, I'm just eyeballing this. Templates help if you really like the corners to look the same. I'm fine if they don't. As long as they're close, it does not freak me out. And then our last one. All right, that is fall. I mean, look at these awesome, it's just cool. I don't know. And again, all techniques are not for everybody, but you get something different. In the hour, I think it was an hour, or just over an hour, we're getting journaling cards, we're getting tags, we're doing this for our journal. And what's great is when you do this, when you create those Masterboards, you're using up your scraps. So you're using up the digitals that are left, and everything else like that. So that's what's great about these. Okay, this is spring. Again, we are going to start out the same way. I'm getting actually pretty close. So we're going to go 3. There's 2. I'm going to go 2. I'm going to go 4 1/4. I want to go 2 1/2 on this one. Oh, it's going to be a tall one. This, I'll go 3. And then this, what size is this? Yeah, we're going to go 2. So that's another journaling card. That's a small little tag. I'm really liking the skinny ones, so this should be 3. Excuse me. And you're getting your ephemera in absolutely no time. And this, sometimes I'm looking at, okay, do I want that to be on the top? Do I want that to be on the top? And since I did these on 110-pound cardstock, 8.5 by 11, they're nice and sturdy. We don't have to add any more layers to them. Again, I'm going to put this in my bag, because what I want to move on next is the cover and the back. I want you guys to see that live. And then depending upon what time it is, because I'm already 2 hours in, almost 2 1/2. I want you to see what that cover is going to look here. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing again. 3. And I'm flipping the, sometimes that'll happen. And sometimes you'll just want to put your little glue down for the little small pieces when they cut off, and of course they're dried up. I'm just flipping them sometimes because I'm seeing, oh wait a minute, I want that print to sit there. Alright. So I'm going to go with 2 1/4 on this one. And then I'm going to go with 1 1/4 on this one, because I'm going to do 2 1/4 on that one. So different size tags on those cuts. But again, we still got 3 journaling cards. And that's what I was mainly looking for. And remember, you can make your cuts as steep or as shallow as you want. I just look for them to look like tags. There we go. All right, so now we have our sets, part of our ephemera. For summer, fall, and winter, I still have to do the pockets like we saw last weekend, and the belly band, and that big pocket. So I'll do those off camera, or if you all are still around and want me to keep going, I could do another season. But I do want to show you what the cover is going to look like and what the journal I have decided to be named. Let me grab the journal. So for those of you, maybe you don't know, if it's your first time here, hold on, spilling stuff. I name every journal that I create, whether it's a journal, whether it's a scrapbook album. They each have their own names, and I don't duplicate a name ever. So I actually keep a list. I keep a tracker, so that no two journals will ever be named the same. So when it comes to this journal, we've got our front, our spine, and the back, of course. Let me just have that stand up. And I'm hoping, really, really hoping, but I don't know. So if I look, of course, shoot! This is going to be the spine. Okay, guys, you got to remember what I just said. It's going to be the spine. These are the scraps that are left. Is this? Okay. So I have that. Okay. So now we're going to punt and go forward. I may need that one. And I may need, I think these two were together. Yes. I see the piece. All right. And let's see. What do we got here? Okay. Yeah, we have really, and I love that fact, that we have really dove into the paper. And I think I want that one too. Yes. Okay. So I need these two because I think they're the spring. These here are the winter. Now, on the back, these are going to be seen. On the front, not so much. But that's okay. We still need to do this. All right, and then that can go there. This is I don't know. This is the summer. And then here's my fall. All right, we're going to save that. All right, so I want this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. They're going to be for the back. And then these, we're going to do something with. But these are hardly going to be seen. And then our ladies, they're going to go somewhere. So, let's work on the spine first. So our spine, when we originally made the journal, is 3.5 inches wide. Or 3.25. 3.25. 3.25, I believe. Yes. So I'm going to cut this piece. Two and 3/4. And we're going to go a little shy of that because I want to get rid of that light color there. Because to me that looks normal. And now I'm going to get some black cardstock. And then, so our cover is 9. So I'm going to cut this one 3. And I'm going to keep it 8.5. So if I look at our spine, that's what that is going to look like. All right. And I'm going to set this in the center of it. And again, we're just eyeballing this. Now, there's a placard that I'm going to make on this. And we're going to use this stamp. And we're going to heat emboss it. Now I'm just going to put this here because there's some etching that I'm going to do on this. I better get a bigger one. And I'm going to use platinum embossing, embossing powder. And unfortunately, we're going to have an obnoxious sound. Sorry. All right, if you want to turn your volume down, I've got this heat gun that's got to come on. All right, Anthony, you asked a question. What did you use for the base? Base of what? For the Masterboard thingy? All right, now I'm going to cut away and around from this. And again, I'm just eyeballing these. This is going to be the band that holds our ribbon, at least in the back through the spine. All right, now I'm going to cut this using my deckle-edged scissors. I didn't want to tear it because I wanted to make sure that it was even, at least somewhat. All right, look, just go away. All right, now I'm going to trim this down even more. Now, if you want, you can measure by all means. Now I'm going to pull in. Oh my goodness, boy, did I shake you. Hang on. Oh my goodness. I'm going to use my paper distressor and we're going to go along this side and we're going to go deep with it. Now, you could do this with scissors as well. I'm a klutz and nobody needs to see a horror film on a crafting video. Just saying. Been there, done that before, and it's not fun. So, yeah, but you can do this with scissors. Just take your time. I just like, this is actually, so they named a paper distressor. This is a thread cutter. So you can look in a quilt shop or a sewing store. It's actually a thread cutter. They do go dull, and mine has, because I do use mine a lot, because I do like the look that it does give. Okay. Sorry, just getting out all of the little tiny thingies there. All right, let me clean this up because now I got fuzzies everywhere. And we are going to put this onto a black piece of cardstock. So I'm going to pull that out again. And I'm going to glue this down. And you know what? I am actually going to do these sides. I don't like these sides. It's not enough for me. It needs to be more. Now, there's a reason why I've got the gap. And we are going to ink this up. So I am extremely heavy-handed. With my inks, as most of you know. And I'm going to start out with the vintage photo, and I'm going to bring it in. So I'm coming in further. I'm not staying along the edge. I'm actually coming in up on top of the cardstock. I want that cardstock to change and take on a different color. And I want it to be splotchy. And if you notice, it's also picking up the wrinkles that I have in there as well. So, you know, I really manhandle my cardstock. And what that does is it almost makes it look like a piece of leather when I do that. Then I'm going to come in with the scorched timber because I really do like that is going to stay on the edge. I'm not going to bring that up onto the cardstock. I just want that along the edge. So it actually will frame the piece. All right, but also gives it that little bit of possibly a leather look. I will come in with my cloth and go back over my embossing to get that to shine back up. I am going to use my my double-sided tape for this so that this can stay down. Just need to find where I put it. And I'm going to go with my 2-inch film. This is the U-line 2-inch film that I get. Extremely strong. Totally unforgiving. Or not forgiving. Once it's down, she is down. And then I'm going to cut around the outside of this. And again, just eyeballing the border. I don't need it to be exact. I don't want it to be exact. We're going to grab our foam because I want to poke holes into this. We're going to do 4. Now, I don't know if I want to go large. Yeah, because what I'm also going to add is a piece of chain. And I want it to go through the brad. So the brad is going to hang on to it. And it's just going to be on this one side. Well, it's going to be on both sides, but it's just going to hang differently. Well, that went flying. Okay. When you're cutting chain, you should wear eye protection. Alright, now I'm going to get the second one threaded and get that one in place. Now, I could really make this completely steampunky and add 2 large brads over there, but no, that's actually going to make me nuts. So, we're going to put a small one here. And I could actually tack it here if I want, but nah. And then we've got this one coming up here. All right, so that is what our band is going to look like here. Now, I always create a double layer, and the reason why I'm going to create a double layer when it comes to the black cardstock is because of the brads back here. I want to cover them up in case they should turn. They'll eventually cut into the paper and possibly create a hole. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to put another layer of tape on top of them, and then they won't move. And then this will go on top of this. and we will just line it up. And cut around. And we're just cutting along the cardstock. So now we have a double thick book element. And that's going to sit right in the center. I don't like to put adhesive on this in case the ribbon shifts. So we're going to put this on here. We're going to hold it in place. We're going to eyeball the center. And we're going to go all through the layers. Now, you really got to push it through because of the adhesive. And I just use alcohol ink, not alcohol ink, rubbing alcohol, not vodka. Although I believe it should be in the craft room to clean off any of the items that are just going, well, that just bit. There we go. So that's one. These are, did I just pull one out or did I pull two? All right. And then we can take these out. So now this, the bar, this tab, is not going to go anywhere. When I attach it to the spine, yes, because it sits on the outside, we will be using our double-sided tape. Absolutely. And again, I'm just going to rub over those. They shouldn't turn at all, but just to make sure. But now I do want to get this onto my cover, maybe. All right, so that's what that's going to look like. And our ribbon is going to go through this and just wrap around the back. I'm not going to adhere it underneath anything in the back. In the front, it is going to, and it's fun because it has a metal element, and I love metal. For the front, so there was a piece that I had in my stash. and it was by Creative Expressions, and it's a layered MDF frame, and it's called the Portrait Rectangle. I do not know if this is still available. Um, Relatively Thoughtful had sent this to me, to be completely transparent. Um, and it's 3 layers. So you've got the base layer, and then you have this outer layer, and then you have these pieces here. So you've got 3 layers. She is solid. I put one of, it goes like this. I put one of her papers in to the center of this. Now, what I also did was I took my stamp set, the floral box, yeah, a tangled floral box, and this, used it as a label, and I stamped collections on top of that in brown, and then on coffee dyed paper, and I adhered it to the front. So this is actually going to sit here. And it's going to go across. Now, how am I going to adhere this, you ask? Never fear. So across that strip, I am going to put double-sided foam squares. And you know what? I don't think I want to use these. I think I'm going to double these up. So I want to make sure that the double-sided foam squares that I'm using are extremely strong. I get my double-sided foam squares also from Uline. And yeah, it takes a lot to take them apart. Now, I am also going to put glue on these as well. I should have done it onto the vellum, but we should be okay. But I also know that she will be able to fix it, just in case it should fall apart. So that's the only way that this is going to get attached. It's literally going to sit on this piece with just the foam squares. I don't want to put glue here because it may be seen, and I don't want it to. All right, and then we've got these flowers. We're pulling out the big guns. We got the glue gun going. Let me put those there. So then we have these flowers. And I think I'm going to go with that one because this is a brighter. I like that color, actually. But then again, yeah, no, I want to go with that one. And then we have our little ones. So you can see there's just a theme that's going on here throughout the journal. I'm picking things out, and then these are just going to get spread around. throughout the piece. And then there's going to be a small cluster of these up here, because I always do things in an angle. Okay. Shay, I cannot tell you how many times I have heard that, and I think it's awesome. That button, these are buttons that I have had in my collection forever. I couldn't even tell you where I got them. I do not remember. Nope. But that one is going to sit there. And this one, these two, again, I have no idea where I got them, but I found them. That one's going to go there. And this one is going to go here. This is what this cover is going to look like on the front of this. Now, once I get all these pieces on, you will see just how big and how much room that takes up. So let's see here. Let's see if this is ready. Oh yeah. You know, you gotta love a glue gun, right? There's just nothing like a glue gun. Okay. Muscle spasm. Alright, there we go. It's like a cramp. But I just love glue guns because they just work. You know, they immediately grab. Don't have to worry about it. Now that I need to be up in there. Just get yourself there. And I am not going to be able to do that left-handed. We're going to put that there. And then we're just going to adhere our buttons. Careful you don't burn yourself. Just saying, because it does come up through the holes. Ask me how I know. There was you guys saw it through my therapy. I did it, and just like that, everything has been adhered. You gotta love a glue gun. Gotta love a glue gun. Alright, so that is what the cover is going to look like. Now I'm just going to, oh, I forgot something. And that's okay because I have my glue gun. So, of course, we want to add just going to add a touch. And we're going to put that right down there. And we're going to push that in and not put our fingers in it. So again, there is a theme that is running along this journal. When we were talking one night, we just started talking, oh yeah, we could add this, and she's right. I know she said yesterday that everyone can thank me for the digital for the Four Seasons. Yes. Because the moment she showed me, because yes, I got a sneak peek. um, the the pattern paper, I knew that I wanted to create a journal. The images were just, you just know. Sometimes you look at something and it's like whack. It just hits you right in the face. And I did. I told her, I said, okay, you know what? You need to make a digital. So I did. I did a little bit of begging. I did a little bit of pleading, and it worked. So this is like a collaboration. So the teals and the black, that's kind of pulling in me, especially the metal. That's my part in there. The vintage photo. Her papers are the stars of it. The concept of scraps, using your scraps. I'm just going to go over some of these areas here on the edge with some platinum. So this is like, because we met through YouTube, actually. She states, or keeps saying, she'll have to finish this story, so somebody will have to ask her about this. She always states that she was watching me from the beginning when I started my channel. And we just, I think it was through Scrappy Tales when we were there together. And it has been history ever since. Now I got this all over my fingers. All right, so that is our cover. So that's how we put that together. I did this all off camera, the painting, because who wants to watch paint dry? And I figured we need to keep moving. So this is going to sit right there. So you can see how much room this takes off. So there's going to be some scraps of her paper torn in the background, just going straight up and down. That's how that is going to look. Now let me open this. Oh, those tabs are awesome. I knew where the center was. So if I lay this down, this is what it's going to look like, and then I will let all of you go. So that is going to sit there. And again, there's just going to be strips peeking out from the top, some on the side, and then some coming down on the bottom. The ribbon, and then this is going to sit here. That's going to be centered onto the spine. That was the word I was looking for. So the ribbon will come through here. So if I take a piece of ribbon, And I haven't decided on the color. I think it's going to be two-tone. I think it's going to be brown and turquoise. So the ribbon will come through the spine and will go behind the placard. And that's how the ribbon will be held in place. It'll be loose back here. It won't be captured in anything unless I think there's going to be just a few pieces of her pattern paper coming down. But I always put, that's my branding there. So it's just a placard with, again, got to have metal. All right. And I did that in the, I always do it in platinum embossing. So that's going to sit there. And I think what I'm actually going to do is I think I am going to trap the ribbon down, because the name of this journal for Biddy is called Authentic. I did not think that there was a better word for her. She is true to herself. She's true to everyone. She sticks with what she does. So I thought that was fitting. Now I could take this and just have this sit here, because there will be a charm that comes off of this. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And the ribbon itself will be centered on the album, and everything else will be positioned where it needs to be positioned. So that is what the cover and the spine will look for. Oh, I'm sorry, Shay. I'm talking about Biddy. This is a gift for Biddy. Biddy Penny. For Toby. I'm sorry, I thought you knew that. She was talking about it yesterday. And yesterday, I love King of Queens as well. So, you know, the man that's her husband, yeah, you've met my husband. Yep, okay. Yeah, he's awesome. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you knew. Because she was talking about it yesterday. So that is just how this is all going to work itself out. I don't want to attach anything yet, because I'm going to be pressing down on the journal when I go to put the pockets in, the belly bands, and all of the other pieces and the other metal findings and all of that fun stuff. So I don't want to set these pieces in place, and I'm not sure about the ribbons yet. There might be a ribbon that I just really want, or I will go with a double dark brown and this aqua color, because I think they accent what's going on here. But it's pretty much a collaboration for us too. So that's why there's certain things I'm making sure, you know, the metal and the edgy, that's me. She's calm, cool. But then all of her papers are throughout. So again, that's what we're looking at. Very plain. I'm probably going to ink also around these edges, just to give them some life as well, since we won't have so much matting. And I think it will come forward for her. All right. We are almost at, yeah, we're over 3 hours this time. So what I'm going to do is if Nene is still in here. I'm not sure if she is, but I know you guys did a great job listing all of the people that we love to watch. I'm hoping she got all of those down. I'm going to make sure that I put them down as well into the description. Hopefully I remember everyone, and I won't. I just won't remember everyone. So, yeah, it's just not. I need a list. I need to get a list. So I'll make sure some of them are listed down there. Again, I'm about to post. I started posting the journal in the community, in the paid group, the paid side. Hang on. And I am about to post the video, so technique of scraps. We love our scraps. We can't get rid of scraps. I show you 3 ways to use your scraps using different techniques. And again, this is in our free community. All right, so we've got how you can do shapes, mini masterboards, and strips. So I will have a link down below for the community. And again, I can't stress enough, there is a free level. I totally get it. Always just different options that we have and that I want to make available to everyone. All right. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm honored. It's Mother's Day. He acts like my husband. Yeah, this is, so when people ask me, do I have any children? I say, yes, I have 2. I have my furry bot, Max, and I have my husband. They look at me really strange when I just say the ages, because then they look at me and I'm like, okay, one of them's my husband. The other one's a cat. And they're like, ah. But yes. He's just so creative with things and ideas that he has, very much so. But love him to death, and there is nobody else in this world that could put up with me. So, but yeah, we used to watch that show, and I would just shake my head back and forth, and he would laugh because we're like, okay, that's us. Oh my goodness, that's us. With the silly things that they do. So, but when I started my YouTube channel, I had a lot of people come up and come across and say, you sound just like Leah Remini. And I'd be like, okay. And I'm good with that. I love her. I think she's funny. I think she's great. Good woman. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now, we're going to start something new, not next Sunday. Remember, I'm off next Sunday. I'm not going to do a live, but I'll have videos up. But we are going to start a new project in 2 weeks. I will probably have a video up of this showing me putting the pockets and the tucks in place, decorating the tops of the tags and the poofs that I put out, at least one of them. And then at the end, I'll do a final flip through. So you will see another video on this when it comes to that. I want you to be able to see, you know, what the final journal looks like, even though we don't see all parts of it. The only time that I show a journal truly on this channel, on the YouTube, from start to absolute finish, And I'm actually doing the first one now that's in my paid community. So I'm gauging, okay, how many videos is this going to take? Because I have no idea. I always broke it up. But that truly is the only place where literally from start to finish, that you'll see a complete journal. Every piece of ephemera, every part of the album, choosing the papers. I may have some of them chosen already, but full explanations and so forth. That's really the only place. All right. So I will be back with this, so that you guys can enjoy and see what it looks like. All right. So again, once we're done, I'll have links over there. If you're interested in everything, I'll put those up in there. Guys, have a great day. Happy Mother's Day to you all. To absolutely you all. Even if you don't celebrate, enjoy the day. Sit back, relax. Hopefully, you have beautiful weather like we are actually having today. But just enjoy. If you're crafting today, just enjoy that process. Dig into what you have and just have fun with it. There, all of this stuff, the only thing that's new is her collection and her paper pad. Those are the new things. Everything else is coming out of my stash or my scraps. We can make beautiful art out of all of it. All right. I appreciate you all and truly grateful. Love you all. Have fun. And I will talk to you live in 2 weeks. Enjoy, guys. And as always, you have any questions, just leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But wait until it cycles through because I won't see these comments once we do the replay version. See ya. Bye.